Hey everybody, we're going to be looking at a couple different ways we can use the Bitcrusher, really more creative ways, a little bit less of the typical way. First, I want to show you a way to use aftertouch on my keyboard to engage the Bitcrusher. So we're going to do this with downsampling. Now aftertouch, if you're not familiar with it, comes from an external controller. You can program it in there inside the actual tracks, but the primary way we do this is hold down a note, and we can sometimes push even further, and that will engage another control. Not every keyboard has it, but if yours does, this is a pretty cool way. So this is the default aftertouch. I'm going to hold down just a couple notes, and then after a second, I will engage the aftertouch. So that's aftertouch using RetroSynth by itself. I want to actually take the data from that, let it still control RetroSynth, but then also control something else. So we're going to use the modifier for this, and we're going to select input event, and we're going to switch this to aftertouch. You can see there's other options, but we're going to do aftertouch. And then I want to assign this by learning plugin parameter to downsampling here. Now I'm going to hold down those same notes, and then when I push it, you'll see the Bitcrusher engage. So you can also, in most keyboards that have aftertouch, you can actually just play a little bit more firm and engage it on a note per note. But because of the way Bitcrusher is on the entire track, it's going to be across the board. And in most cases, with most traditional MIDI keyboards, aftertouch is going to be for the whole keyboard. So if you do aftertouch on a high C, it's going to be this. It's going to engage it for all of the notes across the keyboard. So not a ton of flexibility there. Some of the newer protocols and keyboard options are including across the keyboard aftertouch and other control. That way you can actually do it individually per note, but in most cases you're going to be dealing with it one for all. Okay, so this is one really cool way of doing it. So you can engage that by just pushing a little harder on the keyboard. So that's one way. Another thing that's actually pretty cool, and let's just create a new track here, duplicate settings. I want to come through, and we're going to use the modulator, because another really interesting way to do this is to come through and have this come and go in a little bit more of a random way. So we're going to set up sample and hold. We're going to control plugin parameter, choose downsampling. So now it's going to come and go at different. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Now I want it to actually be more often than not with it turned off instead of always kind of on. So one thing I'm going to do is actually push this down so that it stays in an off position more often than not. But we'll raise this up just a little so it will go on and off. Let's move this to 16th notes. Now I want to add another modulator here, but I'm going to do it above the first one. And for this, so we have this one open. Let's open up the second one. I want to do another plugin parameter. This time, we're going to change it for the overall output level. We're going to move it down as well. Let's slow this down quite a bit. Change the offset so it stays up in the signal some more. Let's slow this down even further. So you get the idea. You can make long, slow changes that will affect our sound using the Bitcrusher. We can customize this however we want. Say we want it to be more subtle over time, or say we want it more often over time. We can do all of that here. Very customizable and very high level of control for whatever you want. So I've got the sample and hold randomizer coming and going according to this one here. All of it controlling this Bitcrusher and what it's doing as the sound develops and continues to develop. Okay, so those are just a couple ways of using the Bitcrusher, and maybe ways you hadn't thought about doing it before, in ways that you can really create creative solutions for any sound that you're trying to achieve. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you're having a great week, and we'll do another video soon.